War never changes. Hey, cuz, ain't that from Fallout? Shut your lame ass up. Excuse me, my bad. I just came down with a little bit of shut your bitch ass up-itis, but what I was trying to say is that war never changes. Except for when you lose your mind and you end up killing your wife and your child. Then the war does change, and sometimes you become a catalyst of war. Someone whose only desire is to destroy, to conquer. And that's exactly what we're here to talk about today. This is the story of a man who lost everything, and in this journey of losing everything decided that he was going to go out on a pure tour of revenge. But revenge never fulfills a man. It only makes him that much more hollow. But that shit is really cool and makes a really fire video game. I'm just saying. We're here to learn about the journey of a man who went from wanting revenge and to destroy everything to wanting to live his life with nothing but peace. This is the full story of God of War. Chapter 1, the creation of Earth. So a long time ago, there was these really old motherfuckers named the Primordials, and they created everything. They were basically before everything. But these Primordials couldn't come to any type of understanding. They are terrible at compromise. So they just started warring with each other. It's like the Bloods and the Crips. They were supposed to live in harmony and protect the community. But then eventually it became about power, money, and drugs. So they started killing each other. Now, I don't know about drugs, unless the Furies were off that za. But they did fight about power, territory, and control. And because of this fighting, they created the Furies. Well, at least that's how they tell it in the God of War lore. But when I looked into this just to research it, apparently these Primordials created the Titans after warring. And the Furies got created or were born from the blood that fell upon Gaia, Mother Earth, after Cronus castrated his father Uranus. Now, I don't know if that's, the lore in God of War is exactly the same as the lore in real Greek mythology, but we're gonna go with that because that's what I've seen from an AI bot that is on Google. It's crazy that you can't escape AI anymore. It's kind of like it's taking over. What if I'm AI? Oh my God. All right, I'm just trolling. I don't know if it's that or the shrooms I just took. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Don't do drugs, kids. But maybe the Titans should have did drugs because they were tripping. Now, Kronos was the leader of the Titans, the father of the Titans. There was this prophecy that his son would kill him. So you know what this guy did? He was like, man, I could raise my kids the right way so that they love me. And maybe they won't want to kill me. But no, instead he decided he was going to eat his children. Yeah, that's right. Kronos started eating his kids, bro. 8 more kids than a Saturday night prostitute. I'm talking about tilted his head back and started swallowing them. But this nigga ate 6 kids, bro. 6! God damn, how hungry is you? Bro was taking no chances. I'm just saying though, if you knew that your son was gonna kill you, maybe use a condom. Like you out here just making children, knowing you're gonna eat them anyway. Stop nutting in your shorty. Now, the mother to all of these children got tired of the fact that Kronos' fat ass kept eating them all. So you know what she did? She decided to save one of the children. This child's name was Zeus. Yep, Zeus, the father of the Olympians, the head of the gods, or should I say the whore of the gods? That doesn't make much sense to you yet, but it will very soon. Anyway, Zeus grew up and got taken care of by Gaia, his grandmother. Gaia is the mother of Earth, and he made the Blade of Olympus, which would help him in his plight against the Titans. He defeats most of the Titans with the help of his brothers, Hades, and that one water nigga, I forgot his name. I'm just kidding, it's Poseidon, but every time I think about the Lord of the Seas, the God of the crashing wave, I always think about Jason Momoa and Aquaman. Did you know that he played Khal Drogo in Game of Thrones? I know that you all probably already knew that, but I was rewatching Game of Thrones recently and I was like, yo, is that Jason Momoa? All right, my fault. Anyways, at this point, Zeus defeated the Titans and he sent them all to the Shadow Realm, which is a prison in the underworld. This is ran by Hades' fat ass. For some reason, Hades is fat and sloppy in God of War. I don't know if he really looks like that regularly, but yep. Now, Zeus created Mount Olympus to watch over the mortals, but what he really did that for was so he could shapeshift and go fuck on whoever they wanted to. That is exactly what the gods did. They went down there, acted like they were regular people, and started humping on regular women, bro. Y'all should probably, I don't know, Get a job or something. Go drive DoorDash. Maybe do some gig work. Find something to keep yourself occupied. Y'all are shapeshifting to go fuck mortal women. You know what? Y'all freaky, man. Like legitimately freaky. And I know that there's 3 million pages on them Epstein files. Y'all are on some of them. I know y'all are. But anyways, this is exactly how Kratos was created. Yeah, you remember earlier when I told you Zeus was the whore of the gods? Yep, he is Kratos' father, bro. Zeus is freaky. He's Hercules' dad, Kratos' dad. You know, I even did some research, and there's some scholars that say that Zeus might have had 92 children. Artemis, Dionysus, Ares, Ursa, like, yo, this dude had all types of kids. You could just say random letters together, and it's probably one of his kids, bro. He was out of pocket. Bro was literally the Nick Cannon and NBA Youngboy of Greek mythology. Put a chastity belt on this nigga, bro. Anyways, now we're here to talk about Kratos, the main character of our story. Now that we got the introduction of the gods and titans and furies out of the way, and those primordial guys, but whatever, who cares about them? Kratos was born in Sparta, and everything became full circle for Zeus, because Zeus also had a prophecy that his son would kill him. But who would have known that it would be little old Kratos? Kratos has been fighting since birth because he's a Spartan, and that's what they do. Being a Spartan sucks pretty badly, but I mean, what are you supposed to do? Kratos fought since birth because he's a Spartan, and it sucks to be a Spartan. I mean, literally, that's all they do is fight. I heard a rumor that they like hump each other. Like they can't have sex with women or something. I don't know, man. It's freaky, man. 300 was a crazy movie. Anyways, Kratos had a brother named Deimos, and Deimos had a mark on his face. So Zeus sent Ares and Athena to take Deimos. Kratos tried to stop him, but he got his ass beat. I mean, they dogged Kratos. I mean, literally pulled up, straight dogged him, which I mean, there's two gods and he's just a young Spartan. So obviously he was going to get dogged, but he still fought. Sometimes it's not the fight in the dog, it's the dog in the fight. What? I don't know how the figure of speech goes. I know I just butchered that, but basically he had mad heart. And then he got chalked out, turned that nigga into hopscotch. Ares was actually going to kill Kratos, but for some reason Athena intervened and stopped him. Why are you trying to kill him? We got what we wanted, Ares. I don't give a fuck. Why is this kid bald? Out here looking like Steve Wilkos and shit. Now after this, my man Kratos was fighting in the Sparta army, and he couldn't lose, but he felt the void. But his void eventually got filled when he got married to Lysandra. They even had a daughter, but unfortunately, his daughter had a plague. Now, Spartans believed in alphas. So because Kratos' daughter had a plague, they thought that she was weak, and they wanted to kill her, which is insane, and it's only because she seemed weak to them. But Kratos hears about this stuff called ambrosia, and he set out to find it, to cure his daughter. It's kind of messed up at this point in the story. Like the gods were putting bets on who would find this ambrosia first. They putting bets on shit that might not even work. Who even knows if this ambrosia is going to heal anything? They out here trying to kill themselves for a magical plant, and that shit might not even do anything. Crazy work. Some of the gods even created plagues in different places so people would go on a journey to find it. They up there playing dope fiend games, bro. Now I understood what Drake meant when he says someone up there must need some entertainment. They up there rolling the dice on mortals. Now there's this big fight for this ambrosia, and Kratos ends up killing everyone until he gets to the last fight, who is the champion of Hades. But he ends up winning and he takes the ambrosia, but the champion of Hades is still alive and he's mad. Now Kratos keeps fighting at this point, but his wife wants him to stop, but obviously he's not going to. He still feels this void from his brother being taken away. But Aldrich comes back, the barbarian king. This was who Hades had as his champion. And he was really pissed off for the fact that this man Kratos beat him up for that ambrosia. Bro embarrassed him in front of all his niggas. Now he comes back with this big ass army and he starts cooking everybody. I mean, Kratos is getting demolished out there. So he ends up doing that infamous, Henry, I'll give it all to you. I'll suck it dry. Just help me. My head game vicious. And at this point, obviously, Kratos starts shitting on him. I mean, taking straight doo-doos on the whole gang. He kills everybody there, and he takes on the Blades of Chaos and pledges undying allegiance to Ares. He's an idiot. Kratos didn't learn anything after this. He actually went kill happy. He kept conquesting for Ares over and over again, creating fear across the lands. Everybody's afraid of the bald gangster. Oh my God, it's Steve Wilkos with swords. Eventually, Kratos gets to this village, and he ends up killing everybody there. And he gets all the way to the end, and he finds an oracle. She tells him to stop, but he doesn't, and he ends up killing his wife and daughter. And this is really when the real story of God of War starts, because I mean, Kratos done lost his mind and killed everybody. But this was Ares Ares actually did this entire time. He teleported them there to make Kratos not attached to the mortals anymore. He got rid of the last thing that kept him attached to everybody there. After he murders his wife and daughter, the Oracle curses him and he makes him wear the ashes of his loved ones. And that's why he looks like Ashy Larry from Dave Chappelle's show. Bro out here ashy as hell. He need to put some Lubriderm on or something. Vaseline, cocoa butter. Honestly, just at least spit on yourself. Now, he's the ghost of Sparta. We're now going into God of War Ascension. Kratos is hit with a bunch of illusions. They don't do anything because Kratos isn't a pussy. And he tells Ares to go fuck himself, which he should because Ares is terrible. Now, the Furies are involved in this story. They want Kratos to keep his word and to keep fighting for Ares. I mean, they're pretty cool with Ares. Them and Ares, they have like what some would call a rapport. I would call it eating dick, but you know, that's just me. Anyways, Kratos makes friend with a guy named Orcos. He tells him that he's seeing illusions, and Orcos tells him that he needs to go see this person called the Oracle of Delphi. So he goes all the way there to see her, and she tells him that he's got to kill the Furies to stop seeing shit. That's a crazy thing to tell somebody. Hey, you know those like ancient beings that are pretty much near the level of gods? Yep, you got to kill all of them. They out here making your life difficult. You are who Randy Orton was singing about. I hear voices in my head, they up the beam, they understand, they talk to me. I don't know why I made the editor put that in, but I just sung that song and thought about that moment. The more you know. Now Kratos needs to stop the Furies, but he needs this thing called the Eye of Truth, and that's in Deimos. They sent this man Kratos on a fetch quest. Now while he's going to go get this Eye of Deimos, he finds out that Orcos, you know, the friend that he had in the beginning, is half Fury. And also that Ares has been trying to take over Olympus, but he can't fight the other gods because it's some super magical rule. I mean, who created this rule that said gods can't fight each other? That doesn't even make any sense. And why do they have to follow it? Like what happens if they don't? Anyways, he can't fight the gods by himself, so he wanted to create the Ultimate Warrior. You know, the big buff guy with the face paint from WWE? Not Ultimate Warrior. He wasn't talking about wrestling at all. I'm an idiot. Well, learned something new about myself today. Also, rest in peace of the Ultimate Warrior. Wait a minute. So he fucked the Fury to make the Ultimate Warrior based on genetics and good genes. This nigga Ares believes in eugenics? But anyways, it was Orcos. But Orcos got left behind and Kratos got picked instead. Now, obviously, Kratos is mad about this information, so he doesn't want Orcos' help. But the Furies ain't trying to hear none of that, and they come swooping in trying to stop him. Orcos ends up helping anyway, and he ends up cutting one of their eyes out. And because of this moment, Kratos starts to trust him. Which, I mean, I kind of understand, because if you don't trust the guy, then he helps you fight things that are basically on the same level of gods, because you were about to get jumped, like that one nigga in the Vice video. Fight back, nigga. I would probably trust him too. Anyways, they end up getting to the eyes, you know, those eyes of truth that they were talking about. And they used to belong to the Oracle of Delphi. She saw the truth about Ares' plan, but the Furies caught wind and they ripped their eyes out. I don't really understand what ripping her eyes out was going to do. She still has her brain intact and she still knows their plan. So she could just, I don't know, tell people what the plan is. Why not rip her tongue out or something so she can't speak anymore? Shorty would have had to learn sign language. I never understand these Greek mythological ass niggas, bro. Cause they just be doing stuff. I'm gonna rip her eyes out and make it a fetch quest. Anyways, the Furies show up and they end up capturing Orcos. They show him illusions for 2 weeks straight. Bro, that's gotta be terrible. That's like having to watch a Mr. Beast video compilation. I probably off myself. But they end up making Orcos Kratos' Oathkeeper. And they say that Kratos has to kill him to be free. Some time passes and Kratos ends up fighting the Persian army and he kills them all. After this, he asks the gods for a quest, but no one answers him until the sun falls. Oh my God. Kratos saw the last light on Earth. Someone took Helios. It's a kidnapping quest. It was Morpheus, the god of dreams. You know the guy that held the 2 pills in The Matrix? Lawrence Fishburne? It's not him. This is nothing to do with Neo in The Matrix. I'm an idiot again. All right, my bad. But come on, you know that I was going to make a reference to that. His name is Morpheus, for God's sakes. But eventually Io says that Atlas broke out of prison and he took Helios and he needs the fire steed because it will go straight to him. Basically, if he gets Helios's horses, they'll take him to Helios. Makes sense, but he has to find him. Now he ends up smoking a bunch of shit, you know, doing regular Kratos stuff. But his damn tune keeps playing in his head. It's his daughter's tune. He's fucked up right now. Bro definitely need a Xanax. But eventually he fights through a bunch of waves of enemies and he gets to the fire steeds and they take him to the underworld. Now he ends up fighting Carrion, the ferryman of the underworld, but he loses or gets punished. So he's in the underworld now and he ends up fighting and eventually takes the gauntlets of Zeus. And he comes back to stop him. After defeating him, he's searching for Atlas, but he hears his tune again and he sees his daughter. He stops the entire mission at this point because, bro, it's his daughter. It's like the one thing that he loves more than anything else. But he ends up finding Persephone, the wife of Hades. Now, Hades is an asshole. Basically what happened is she brings bounties to the world. She's like the springtime. Basically, the lore is Hades and Zeus kidnapped her, right? And they made her Hades' wife. Now, Demeter, the goddess of agriculture, is her mom. She's mad as hell, and she wouldn't let the earth bear fruit. But because her daughter ended up eating food from Hades and was under some sort of mind control, she couldn't leave. But once a year, she could leave, and that's when the world would bear fruit. And that's the story of spring. It's crazy. From Greek mythology, man, they just be creating stories about women getting kidnapped, and that's how the springtime comes. Anyways, Kratos is mad at this point and says the gods keep playing with him. Basically, he tells him straight up he don't care about Earth. He wants his daughter back. Man, y'all keep talking about Earth this and Earth that and Hades and people getting kidnapped. Man, I don't give a fuck about that shit, cuz. I want my daughter. Y'all gonna show me my daughter and then y'all not gonna give her to me, cuz? What type of messed up shit? Come on, man, I'm just saying. Y'all gonna make me crash out? I be trying my hardest not to crash out, son. But y'all out here playing games, man. Now at this point, we find out that Persephone freed Atlas and tricked him. But if you blow up the world, we'll all die. But she doesn't care. She didn't care about anything. She hates her life. She hates the gods. So she wanted to end everything. Basically create a giant nuke that would kill the gods and mortals. Now Kratos is in this field and he ends up pushing his daughter away because she's an illusion. And he kills every spirit in this field, bro. He goes to kill Persephone and he finds Atlas. And he asks if the gods could heal nightmares. They need to heal this nigga, bro, because he be saying all types of messed up shit. I'm just saying. Anyways, Kratos takes his steed and takes the sun back. And then he rests. And now we're finally to the first game. It's been 10 years and Kratos is pissed. He really wants to kill Ares. So he consults with Athena about it. And Athena tells him that Pandora's box is the only thing that could kill Ares. And then he asks about his nightmares being relieved. And Athena says, sure. Like that one guy that makes chopped cheese. Now my man Kratos pops up and he sees this oracle. But this oracle's trying to look in his head and shit. So he pushes her off of him. He ends up going into the temple to get Pandora's box. But this man Ares throws a pillar at him and kills him. But he says, fuck that. And he climbed all the way from the underworld back to the world of the living. This nigga revived himself. Bro fell in Warzone and had a self-revive. We find out that the old guy and all this stuff is Zeus. This whole time Zeus has been helping him because he's Kratos' dad. But he's still scummy though. I just want everybody to know that. Anyways, he gets the box and he uses the blades of the gods to kill Ares. But Athena lied and said that they can only forgive him for the things that he's done, that they can't relieve his nightmares. So Kratos has lost his mind at this point and he tries to kill himself. He done beat Ares up. He finds out that he can only be forgiven, that his nightmares are not going to go away. So fuck that. I'm out of here. Fuck that shit. I'm out. And that was Kratos' 13th reason why. We're out here moving like Hannah Baker. But Athena ends up saving him and makes him the god of war. So my man Kratos like, all right, fuck it, and sits on the throne to take his prize. At this point, God of War is over, and we're going on to the next game, the Ghost of Sparta. Now this man Kratos is still seeing visions, but he sees his mom locked up somewhere. Now he goes to find his mom after Athena tells him not to go, because that's what Kratos does. He's rebellious. I'm not going to listen to the guys. They tell me not to do something, I'm going to go do it. So he finds his mom, and his mom tells him that his brother Deimos is still alive, and that his father is the one that put her there, Zeus. He asks about his father, but she ends up turning into some weird ass monster, and this dude has to end up killing his own mother. So he smokes her ass, and then he leaves and he goes to Death's domain. Athena keeps trying to stop him the whole time, but he says, fuck that, I'm going to go find my brother. And he does, but his brother blames him. Says that he's the reason why he got captured in the first place and that he didn't try hard enough, so they end up fighting. And Deimos is beating his ass, I ain't gonna lie, oh my god. But right as they're fighting, the god of death comes and takes Deimos away. So Kratos goes and he tries to save his brother, and they fight death together. But Deimos ends up dying. Now Kratos crashes out at this point because, you know, when bad stuff happens to Kratos, he crashes out. And he ended up killing the god of death. Now he can finally be a real god. Now there's this mobile game called Betrayal. It's not really relevant, but I'll breeze through it because this is the entire timeline, including all the games. Now this nigga Kratos is fighting everybody. He kills one of Zeus's sons, and that's pretty much everything that happened in Betrayal. I know I said I was gonna breeze through it, but you probably didn't expect a Febreze blast. That's kind of what Febreze sounds like to me. All right, my bad. Anyways, God of War 2. Now this dude Kratos is still warring with Greece. and he's going to go aid his army. Athena is trying to stop him yet again, but he goes down there as a giant because, I mean, he's a god and he can do that. But this big ass eagle comes and drains him. That was crazy. Now Kratos goes to a regular size and he ends up grabbing a blade of Olympus once again, and he puts all of his energy in there. This is the same blade that Zeus used to stop the Titans in that big ass war they had. But Zeus was tricking him. He grabs the blade and he kills Kratos after he's wounded very badly. Why did you betray me? Nigga, you betrayed us. Fuck is you talking about betray me? You out here fighting immortals, you crashing out. Thank you, NBA young boy. So I had to teach you a lesson. Zeus had to come put belt to ass. Now Kratos goes to the underworld, but he swears that he will get his revenge. Now he finds Gaia down there. She says that she'll help him defeat the gods, and she saves him. Says that she's been watching him the whole time. Says that she has some Titans as well that will help, but he needs a sister of fates to go back in time to stop Zeus. So he flies to the island of creation with Pegasus, the Gaia gave to him. He's mad as hell because of what Kronos did. He started all of this. Now Kratos goes on a journey at this point and makes some alliances with all these different Titans. Even Atlas, the one who hates him the most. Or it comes back in the underworld. He's trying to go back in time to kill Kratos, but Kratos kills him again. What happens if you die in the underworld though? Like, if you get smoked when you're down there, are you just eternally fucked? Now, after he defeats Ulrich, he finds the last survivor of Sparta. He says that Zeus came and they demolished Sparta. Kratos wants to end his mission at this point, but Gaia reignites his flame, reminding him of what the journey is for and what he is trying to accomplish. So he decided that he's going to kill the Sister of Fates one by one. This nigga really killed the Sisters of Fate. How do you kill people that decide fate? What the fuck? That's crazy work. Anyways, after the sisters die, he goes back in time to stop Zeus. Zeus is flabbergasted because he's like, yo, the sisters helped you? Nope, I killed them. And then he kills Zeus. Well, he tries to at least, but Athena stops him. Once again, she intervenes and she ends up getting killed herself. Shit crazy. But before she dies, she tells him that he's the Marked Son, and that Zeus knew about a prophecy about a Marked Son killing him. Zeus is the one who created the prophecy. He actually caused this by bothering Kratos in the first place. He might have never known about Zeus. If he didn't send Ares and Athena down there and set everything up with Deimos and shit, Kratos might have never knew about him. Anyways, nigga went back in time with the power of the Furies and recruited the Titans right before the big war, and they're climbing Olympus. Now we're here. The best game in the franchise, in my opinion. But you know, some people might think I'm wrong, and that's okay. It's okay to have wrong opinions. God of War 3. Now they're climbing up Mount Olympus. The cutscenes are crazy here, bro. I'm talking about big waves crashing everywhere, giant Titans, gods walking over to Mount Olympus, they ore farming. Shit is insane, bro. It's the best God of War game, I'm telling you. Anyways, Poseidon steps up first. He's in this giant ass Susanoo form. Bro think he is like that. But Kratos and Gaia end up killing him. And this dude, Kratos, beats him to death. I mean, straight pummels this dude. Fa, 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 fa. But obviously he causes the sea to flood all of Greece. Big natural disasters, typhoons, tsunamis, hurricanes. Anyways, they get to the top, but Zeus intervenes. He hits Gaia with this big ass lightning bolt. They fall down. And Gaia ends up betraying Kratos because he's immortal and he can't be trusted. So instead of Gaia saving him, Kratos falls all the way down to the underworld. Now, we also find out that Athena is in a higher plane of existence because of the sacrifices she made, and she ends up creating the Blades of Exile. And she tells Kratos in order to kill Zeus, he's got to put out some big ass flame of Olympus. So he goes to the underworld. He meets Pandora there. She asks for a bunch of help, but Kratos says no because he's a dickhead. But he does kill Hades while he's down there. That big sloppy fuck. But the souls go crazy after this. They're flying all over the place. It's like me after I get head. All right, my fault. That was crazy. Now he goes back and he ends up seeing Gaia. She's about to die and asks for help. But Kratos ain't trying to hear that shit. Oh, you want help now? But you was betraying me because I'm mortal. Fuck you. So he kills her dumb ass and cuts her hand off. But Helios ends up showing up. But his dumb ass got smoked. Come on, bro. He literally saved you. Anyways, he ripped his head off, which is crazy. Now after this, he sees Pandora's box and he needs it to defeat Zeus. He finds out that Hephaestus got commissioned by Zeus to make Pandora's box and it consumes evil powers. But he needs Pandora to get to the box to get to the power. Should have helped her when she asked. Crazy work. Anyways, Hermes shows up after this and he kills him and rips off his feet and takes his speed. Yo, this dude Kratos is a different type of demon. He runs into Hera after this and she's a douchebag. So she puts her big son Hercules on him. Dude is big as shit. What kind of roids is he taking? Yo, he looks like that one big ass dude that blew up on YouTube and all he does is work out and eat. I think his name is Sam Sulek. Hercules looked like Sam Sulek. Anyways, Kratos stole his gauntlets and kills him, bro. We find out that Hercules was jealous of him the whole time. Bro kind of zesty, but that's okay. Anyways, let's move along. Kratos runs into Aphrodite after this, and she just wants some meat, so he folded her like an omelet. And then he runs into Hephaestus after just fucking his wife, which is crazy work. Anyways, Hephaestus says that he created a key to the box, which is Pandora, but Daedalus made a maze to keep her away. And Hephaestus tells him to go to Tartarus to get this big stone to make a special weapon. So he goes and he runs into Kronos, and he has to kill Kronos as well, which is insane, after he got eaten by him. He ends up cutting through his stomach and he gets the stone, which I guess is just like, I don't know, is this a kidney stone that was inside of Kronos? Like, what is this? Anyways, he goes back to Hephaestus with the giant stone, and Hephaestus tries to betray him after making him these new weapons. So Kratos kills his dumbass with the weapons and ends up impaling him into this giant spike. So he leaves the underworld now and he runs into Hera again, and she's drunk and calls Pandora a whore, which is crazy. So he kills her and all plant life dies. But he gets to free Pandora after this though, so that's cool. They talk about how she would hear fear when the gods would bring up Kratos' name. How the gods would talk about him, but they were all scary. They end up bonding because he remembers his daughter and he kind of sees her a little bit in Pandora. So he stops her from opening the box, but she runs away. And then this dude Zeus pops up out of nowhere and throws her ass. So they end up fighting, and Pandora opens the box anyway during the fight, but it's empty. Zeus ends up laughing, and then Gaia shows up mad about being hurt. I thought that Kratos killed her earlier, but apparently he just cut her hand off. Should have smoked her ass. And he stabs him through Gaia's heart as well. So Gaia falls, and the spirit of Zeus ends up attacking Kratos and traps him in this nightmare world where he sees fucked up shit. But Pandora saves him and shows him the way to find hope. So apparently back when he opened the box, he had hope put into him. That was the power that was in the box. And he comes back as a god and kills Zeus. It's kind of crazy. Now Athena wants hope from him, but he stabs himself with the blade of Olympus and puts hope into the world. And he ends up ruining everything. At least ruining everything for Athena. Now you're probably wondering what happened between this and the new God of War. A lot of people had no idea how Kratos ended up getting there, but there's a comic that showed what happened. He ended up traveling the world trying to throw away the blades of chaos, but he can't. They keep coming back to him. He finds these people eventually, and he ends up going into another world. He walked so much that he traversed into a different dimension, and he finds Egypt. Now this old guy's there, and he tells him that he's in Egypt. Kratos keeps seeing Athena in his dreams at this point. She wants him to come home, but obviously he says no. Fuck Destiny, I'm not doing it. Now he keeps traveling around, and he ends up coming to the same village in Egypt, and his dream beast pops up and is attacking them. The old man says it's Destiny, and he says fuck Destiny, and the old man says, are you gonna leave these people to die? Pretty messed up, man. Kratos just wants to be left alone, but obviously no one wants to leave him alone. They want him to be there, keep fighting, keep trying. Now at this point everything disappears except him and the beast, so he kills it. The old man says that's an appetizer, and then this big ass hippo shows up. Looks like my aunt Gertrude. Now Athena and the god of thought, that old man from Egypt, show up, show him the blades that he needs because his hands aren't enough. He travels after this, and eventually he finds Midgard and a woman named Faye. They had a friendship through battle, and then they loved each other. And they have a son named Atreus. Faye raises Atreus on his own, but he's always sick, so he's limited to what he can do. Kratos is around them, but he's trying to control his rage. He ends up failing a lot and getting mad about a lot of stupid shit. And he acts out towards his son too. So their relationship isn't that strong. At one point he runs into an old man being attacked by a bear, and he attacks the bear and kills it, and he damns both him and the bear to hell. Which is crazy, cause like, how you mad at the man? Like, he just fighting. Anyways, he goes home after this to find Atreus playing and not doing his chores. And the bear shows up mad and attacks them. He fights them and they run. And he's pissed off, bro. I'd be pissed off too. How you gonna come pop up here, fight us, and then run off? So Atreus and him go looking for it. And he tells them about a seer, an oracle. Someone so powerful even Odin uses them. Now they go to this oracle and she tells them that the berserkers are the culprits. And their rage is what fuels their transformation. Basically, they're, people that transform into bears. They're kind of like druids from like D&D and shit. So he goes to find them. He sneaks in, but they see him and they end up transforming. He eventually breaks this totem and they turn back to their human forms, and he kills the entire clan anyway, bro. The seer tells Atreus that he'll be stronger soon. That's nice to hear after my father just killed this entire clan of berserkers. But he's confused. And then this berserker comes to her. Is this the last berserker? Didn't Kratos just kill them all? Like, sometimes I be confused about the things that happens in God of War, because if you just killed them all, why is there one left? Anyways, Atreus defends her, but Kratos comes to kill the berserker and they go home after that. Faye dies not too long after this, and they hold a funeral. They go hunting, they end up fighting a troll. Atreus freaks out on him. Nigga is raging out. Kratos is trying to tell him that he's not ready, but he's like, I'm not sick anymore. At this point, we're in the God of War game and out of the comic. And then Kratos gets a knock at the door. It's Baldur. He comes in and he can tell that Kratos is a god. Kratos tries to shoo him away, obviously, because he's trying to control his anger. Kratos actually kept cool until Baldur punched him. And then Kratos punched his dumb ass back. Yo, these niggas is going at it. But this dude Baldur can't feel any pain. I remember seeing this in the God of War game and I'm like, yo, this is probably about to be one of the coldest games of all time. And then it was one of the coldest games of all time. So now we're at the point where obviously Kratos doesn't know what to do. This guy feels no pain. He's laughing at everything that he's doing to him. Imagine punching a guy 38,000 times. And on the 39,000th punch, he finally laughs again, bro. He doesn't feel anything. So my man Kratos says, all right, fuck that. You don't want to feel any pain? Then I'm gonna make you feel pain. In the afterlife, bro, I'm about to take you there, bro. 6 feet deep. Put that nigga through there. Anyways, my man Kratos said, fuck that, I'm gonna just kill this guy. And he broke his neck, snapped it. Now, obviously, Atreus and Kratos are done because they just broke this guy's neck and left him stinking. Literally left him laying on the ground, looking stupid. So they decided that they were gonna go home to fulfill Faye's wishes. Because I'm gonna be honest, they have been getting attacked a lot. I don't know what it is about Kratos, bro. He just attracts war. Never check. All right, my fault. I'm sorry. I really like Fallout. I'm probably gonna do that video next. I can't help it. Now they're finally traveling because they want to fulfill Faye's wishes of letting her ashes go at the home of the giants or whatever the fuck, some giant peak. They want to go up there, let her ashes go, be with her people. But they run into this guy named Brok. He's the one who made the Leviathan axe that Kratos has. You're probably wondering while playing this game, where the hell are the Blades of Chaos? Well, don't worry, they're not gone. They just aren't on Kratos' hip right now. Instead of running around with them FN bullets and the green dot, he decided to go Glock Dookie. Now after they find Brok, he takes Atreus hunting. He's trying to, make this boy a man, I guess. Or whatever they said in Mulan. Yeah, good man, how do you? I know y'all like my voice. I been singing my whole life. Anyways, they find this boar, but it is the friend of someone named Freya. Freya is going to be somebody that's very important to this story. She's also the mother of Baldur, the guy that Kratos, broke his neck. So you're probably thinking like, oh my God, they're probably going to be beefing because Kratos broke her son's neck. Well, no, because Baldur is immortal. Yep. Just when you think Kratos killed him, he gets up like nothing happened because he can't die. It's a blessing and really a curse though, because imagine not being able to feel anything. That has to blow. Anyways, Freya knows that Kratos is a god and Odin does not like outsiders. They leave Freya's house eventually and they end up finding the world serpent and Brock's brother as well. His name is Sindri and he's nervous as hell. Kind of like he's on Percocet or something. I don't know. Someone needs to get him a liquid IV and maybe a Xanax or something. He's kind of tweaking out. Anyways, they end up running into this very dark fog. It's very, very dark. Like my father. My dad's very black. There's nothing wrong with that. But one time when I was 3 years old, he walked into the room and it was like 2 a.m. I woke up and all the lights were off. And all I saw were floating teeth and eyeballs. It scared me to death. Now they're in this fog and Freya pops up and says that it's black breath and they need the light of Alfheim. So Freya takes them to this mechanism that'll take them to other realms. But Freya ends up getting sucked out of there. She has been cursed by Odin. She's kind of stuck to where she is. Honestly, that would blow, bro. Imagine having a son who's cursed and can't feel anything and you also can't go anywhere. I don't know what Freya's family did to this nigga, but Odin doesn't like her. Anyways, they keep going to find the light. He walks in and Kratos ends up getting stuck in this weird illusion world. In this illusion world, Atreus is talking about how his dad doesn't listen or he doesn't like him. Says he wishes Kratos died instead of Faye. It's kind of messed up. It is an illusion, but I could really see Atreus saying this. He doesn't like his dad. I'm just saying. At least in the moment. I know that he loves his dad. They got a weird and a rocky relationship. Kind of like Sylvester Stallone. It's rocky. Okay, that was ass. All right. Okay, kind of like Jay-Z. It's rocky, fella. Okay, that was guard. Okay, that was garbage. Rocky where? All right, okay. All right, I'm sorry, I'm done. But basically, Atreus does love his father. He just kind of wants his respect. Hard to get Kratos' respect though, because I mean, he's always angry all the time. He pretty much hates everything, but he's learning. Kratos has been gone for mad long, bro, and Atreus is mad as shit. He's been stuck in this illusion, and Atreus has been in there by himself fighting the entire time. So he gets to yelling at him about Faye and shit. Oh my God, Dad, why did you leave so long? What you mean, why did I leave so long, cuz? How long have I? Oh my God, what the fuck? How long have I been gone? Like 2 weeks. You fucking douchebag, I've been in here fighting for my life. You survived though, cuz. I'm just saying that. That's a good look. Anyways, at this point, they keep going. They end up finding Mimir stuck in a tree. Now, Mimir, he got like stuck to this tree. That's kind of his punishment. But anyways, they remove his head because they need him. He says that the highest peak that they're trying to go to is called Jotunheim, the mountain of the giants. But it's gone, it should be impossible. But he says that he could possibly take them there. But of course, like I said, they have to cut his head off and get Freya to bring him back. Now they end up going to Freya's house and they got these special arrows with like green stuff on it. They found them there, but Freya ends up destroying it and says that he can't ever use them. It's very weird, and it's going to become relevant at some point. I won't tell you when it's going to become relevant, but it will. Just wait on it. Anyways, Mimir says that he helped the tribe stop infighting by having Oda marry Freya. But this shit didn't work out over time, and they end up warring again. So Odin banished her to Midgard, and that's why she got sucked up earlier. But Freya tells them all that she's a god. Kratos is mad as hell because, you know, why are you withholding information? You're not telling me that you're a god? I hate gods, bro. I actually want to smoke gods, every single god that I can smoke. And you know, honestly, I don't blame Kratos. Gods suck. They're kind of assholes. They're always like trying to put people against each other. They be shape-shifting to have sex with mortals and making these demigods / human ass people. And then they just neglect them their whole life. Tisk, 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 gods. Sound like Nick Cannon. Anyways, they go to see the World Serpent after this, and Mimir ends up talking to them. They need something called the Thalmos Chisel. But on the way to get there, they get stopped by Modi and Magni. These are the kids of Thor. Atreus is raging out about Faye because they're talking shit. Oh, you mad at me, cousin? Your motherfucking wife died. You know I blew her back out before we killed her, right? Man, who the fuck is you talking to, cut? Hey, Atreus, I know they're not talking to me, cuz. Hey, pull that Glock dookie out, man. You know what time it is. Now, Atreus is also getting mad about them talking about Faye. But Kratos ends up killing Magni and Modi runs away. You know, that tends to happen when Kratos gets to tripping out and killing people. Kills one guy, and next thing you know, his brother starts running. What a pussy. Anyways, they leave and they go to Tyr's vault. They go in there so they can get the chisel. But Modi ends up attacking them and starts shooting lightning. Atreus is mad once again, and he rages out so much that he passes out, bro. This dude had a damn asthma attack from the rage. This motherfucker think he got damn trippy red. Get it? Cause you know, all the rage, he raged out. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm making references you probably don't even know, and it's trash. I'm sorry. But Kratos ends up punching this nigga Modi and he runs once again. They go back though, and Freya says that she needs to go to the underworld to get the key of the keeper. But it seems that Kratos needs the blades of chaos though. And he goes back to go get him from his house, and Athena shows up. Ends up grabbing him up, calling him a monster. Man, get your motherfucking filthy hands off me, cuz. After his interaction with Athena, they go to Tohelheim, and he has to kill the keeper there. This isn't a problem for Kratos because he can kill anyone. Now Kratos and Freya get to talking, and he overhears them. So Kratos tells him everything, except how he ended up killing a bunch of gods in the Greek world. Probably something he should tell him, but you know, whatever. But anyways, after this, they have to pass a bunch of trials, and they get to the end, and here's Tyr's vault. They get to this point, and him and Atreus are starting to bond more. It's good because, you know, Atreus pretty much dislikes his father, but wants his approval. It's really weird, convoluted relationship. And honestly, I don't even know if Atreus dislikes him per se. He probably does like Kratos, but he doesn't know how to show it because Kratos is always being big macho man Kratos, you know, on that alpha shit. But watching too much of that red pill shit on podcasts. Anyways, Atreus starts being a dick to everyone because he's a god. Starts talking heavy about Odin too, says he can fight him and anyone else. Yo, Atreus, calm your little ass down, bro. You get mad for no reason. You need to sit down, eat some fruit snacks, have a little nap. Now, after Atreus rages out, they end up running into Modi once again, and he's talking about Faye again. They end up stabbing his ass though. Shit is crazy. Hold on. Now Atreus, stabs the guy, so Kratos scolds him. But he says, "We're gods, Dad. We can do what we want." Nigga, no. That's the whole thing I'm trying to teach you. We can't do what we want because we're gods. That's what makes gods douchebags. Anyways, they get the Jotunheim gate at this point. But Baldur ends up coming and attacks Kratos. He pins Kratos down like a dumbass. And Baldur ends up kidnapping Atreus. Yo, hold on now. But Kratos obviously follows him because you're not going to take my son. You're not going to beat me up and take my son. That's crazy work. They end up fighting through different universes. And they end up getting to Helheim, but they got separated. Atreus is seeing visions in Helheim of how shitty he's been. But he learned that Baldur got a spell put on him by his mom. And that he can't feel anything, or die, or taste food, or smell anything. Yo, imagine not being able to taste food, bro. That might be the worst thing of all time. Like, you just eating and it just tastes like nothing. You know what I mean? I can't even say it would taste like water because water has a taste. It's just nothingness. Like, I'm good off that, bro. I ain't gonna lie. He was gonna kill his mom, but he decided not to. And honestly, I would have killed her, bro. Because why did you put this bullshit ass curse on me? The fuck? You know what? I'm about to crash out for him, bro. That shit made me mad. Anyways, he decided not to though, because it's his mom, so I guess he gave her the benefit of the doubt. But then Kratos starts seeing illusions from God of War 3, him fighting Zeus, but Atreus done snapped them out of it. And they see Tyr's vault on the wall. So they go to the two brothers and ask them to make a key. So they do, and they end up going to the vault to get the Unity Stone. Mimir says that Tyr uses this to protect himself in between realms traveling. They do the same and they go to the realm between realms and find the Jotunheim Tower. And the tower ends up absorbing the stone. So they can travel there now. But they need one last thing, Mimir's other eye. So they go on a fetch quest because, that's what Kratos does. They send him on fetch quests. That's what all the games are. Anyways, it's in the world's serpent mouth though, which is crazy. Like, come on, bro. You got this item that you need and you got to go get necked down by the world serpent to get it? Hey, yo. So they head back to the Lake of Nine to get it. They end up getting it, but the serpent spits them out. And Freya pops up asking about Baldur. She tries to apologize to him, but he wants to end her ass. But Kratos ends up stopping him because vengeance doesn't work. But she doesn't want Kratos intervening with Baldur because, Kratos kills gods and he probably would figure out a way to kill this nigga. So he traps him, and Atreus is by himself now. But you remember that arrow that Freya wanted to destroy, right? Well, it was on Atreus' quiver, and that green shit, that could stop the curse. So it punctured him, and it stopped the spell that was put on him. But Freya's like, fuck that, you're not about to kill my son, and she summons a titan. Oh my God, it's Eren Yeager. All right, I'm sorry. But they end up getting the world serpent to help him out. Baldur was getting punished. I'm talking about Mickey, Maka Mookie, boom, boom. I mean, they was really dogging him because, that's what Kratos do though. So Freya tries to stop him. Now, Baldur tries to kill Freya, but Kratos stopped him and broke his neck. But Freya's mad as hell. Oh my God, why did you kill my son, you bastard? Hold on, bitch, you don't know me like that. Don't talk to me. Your son doesn't know you either. Okay, touche though, bitch, my fault. So he sits down and he tells Atreus the whole story. All right, man, I'm gonna keep it a band with you, son, all right? Your boy Sin is good for a hood translation, man, so... Yo, gang. Hey, yo, it's your boy Kratos coming out of the 63rd of Greek mythology, you know what I'm saying? You feel me? I've been around the block and shit. Basically, I was born in Sparta, son. I had this brother named Deimos, you know what I'm saying? But he had this mark on his face. Zeus had his prophecy that a marked son would kill him. He thought Deimos was his son because, we look alike and all that, you know what I'm saying? We brothers. And he knew one of us, you know what I'm saying, was his son. So he like, oh shit, this nigga got a mark on his face. Let me kill him. So we sent Ares and Athena down there to kill his ass, you feel me? But then, you know what I'm saying? They end up, beating me up. Ares is about to kill me, but Athena stopped him. Should have killed me though. Nigga tripping. So they take Deimos, I get mad and all that. I keep fighting. I lose my mind. Kill my wife and my daughter by accident. Oracle puts a bunch of stuff on me. That's why I'm white. I look like Ashy Larry from the Dave Chappelle show and all that. You feel me? Anyways, I keep fighting. I get beat up by this dude named Ulrich, bro. Starts punishing my dumb ass. So I asked Ares to help me. Ares gives me power. I beat him. Eventually, I kill Ares because I find out that he's the one that made me kill my wife and my daughter. Crazy, because how you gonna help me, but then you made me kill my wife and daughter? That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So then I crashed out. get Pandora's box, get the Blade of Olympus, kill Ares. I'll become the god of war. You know, Athena makes me a god of war and all that. I hate Athena ass, but that's another time and another story. You know what I'm saying? But that's besides the point. Anyways, after this, I keep fighting, but I'm trying to fight against the gods because I hate them. So Zeus come down, take all my power, stab me, kill me, send my ass to the underworld. I end up coming back, and I'm like, but when I'm down there, I meet Gaia, this big ass Titan bitch. You know what I'm saying? Her and all the Titans like, all right, cool, we gonna help you. So be like, all right, fuck it. So, you know, I come back, you feel me? And I have to find these things called the Sisters of Fate. I gotta get them to be able to go back in time and stop Zeus. So I kill their ass, and then I go back in time, you know what I'm saying? But I can't kill Zeus because Athena stopped me. She's a bitch, you know, but that, again, another time, another story, whatever. So then I go back in time to when the Titan and the big ass war was about to happen with the gods, and we climbing Mount Olympus. We get up there, you feel me? I kill Poseidon, Hermes, Helios, Hera, goddamn, who else? Hercules, Hades. I killed mad niggas. Hephaestus. I'm killing everybody. I ain't gonna lie. Eventually, I killed Gaia bitch ass after I cut her hand off. She was looking like Shanks and all that. Stab her dumb ass. I end up extinguishing the fire of Olympus and I kill Zeus. He come back as this weird ass spirit, kill him in the spirit form. And then Athena, you know, she mad that the world going through catastrophe, but I put hope into the world. Then I end up leaving. You know, I keep walking around and shit. I'm trying to get rid of the blades of chaos, but I can't. You know, I end up in Egypt and shit. Fight this dream beast, this hippo pop up. It's crazy. I keep walking, end up in this, you know what I'm saying? Where I'm at now in Midgard. I meet your mom. We fuck you born, you feel me? And then, you know, that's how we're here. What? So at this point, you know, obviously he tells them the whole story, and the son asks that, is this their destiny? So they go to the tower and they let the ashes go, and he finally lets go. And they find out that Atreus' real name is Loki. Now we're here, God of War Ragnarok. It's been 3 years since the last time we seen our two compadres, and they stuck in this big ass terrible winter. And they're coming home from a hunt. Freya's attacking them. She's been attacking them for the last 3 years, trying to kill them because she's mad, but you know, whatever. And their wolf Fenrir ends up dying. Niggas got tight, you know, because they had to leave him and shit. Atreus is mad as hell. Freya's being a bitch, but another story for another time. Anyways, they argue because Kratos is trying to train him, obviously, but he's mad because his wolf just died. Man, you know what, Dad, man, fuck it, man. Just let me bury my wolf, man. You really got me, you got me mad right now, son. So Atreus ends up turning into a bear. He's all mad and shit. Kratos fucks him up, you know what I'm saying? Because obviously, calm down. Nigga turned out of emotion, bro. You turning into bears, like relax. Anyways, they need to train his powers, obviously, because he's crashing out. Atreus thinks that he needs a guide. So they go home. Thor and Odin end up showing up and they having this conversation with him. They're not even mad about the sons dying. It was self-defense. I mean, Thor is really actually mad about it, but you know, Odin needs Kratos and Atreus right now for something. Not going to talk about it yet, but we'll get there eventually. Anyways, but Balder was their best tracker. So they got a blood debt that needs to be paid. And Odin's also worried about Tyr because he's a threat. Nigga says he's half Aesir and a giant. He supposedly killed him and he wanted Atreus to stop researching him. But Kratos turns down the deal. So now we got Thor versus Kratos. One of the craziest fights that I've ever seen. After this is over, you know, the blood debt is finally paid. And Odin left with Atreus. He gave him bread for the roof too, you know, the one that got destroyed. And he invited him to Asgard. He doesn't even care about the giants anymore. He just wants to find a way to avert Ragnarok, which is the destruction of all the gods and, you know, everything, basically. We find out later that Ragnarok is really just to destroy Asgard. It's not to destroy the whole world. That's why Odin's so, you know, freaked out about it, but we're not there yet. Just know that that's the reason why he's trying to stop it. Now, he's mad that Atreus was looking into Tyr without telling him, but Atreus tells him about this vault and how Tyr can help them fight Odin and Thor. Now, there's these two big ass wolves, and this was to show Ragnarok starting. They see Tyr leading an army in Ragnarok. It hasn't happened yet, so this might be a vision of the future on this. This might be showing them a picture of the future. Kratos is not convinced, obviously, because, you know, what does Atreus know? He's just a stupid kid. Anyways, Atreus shows Tyr being locked up in a dwarf prison, and they go back between realms. Now, they can't find anything in between realms, and they end up going to this dwarf spot. And they meet this little dwarf there. They end up telling him a bunch of stuff, and they mention Faye's name. He hears Faye is dead, and he ignores them. And they give him a fine about traveling with the head. You know, obviously, Mimir's still with him, so traveling with a head, you know, it's a finable offense. It's kind of crazy, but, you know, whatever dwarves say, you know? Kratos questions his son about his intentions. Why do you want to do this anyway? And I ain't gonna lie, son, this could be a bad idea, man. I'm just saying. But Atreus is adamant. They need to find Tyr. Now, Mimir is obviously trying to mediate everything, but eventually they do find Tyr. And this nigga thinks that it's an illusion that he's seeing. It's just probably been a long time since he's seen anybody. But Kratos get to shaking his dumb ass like, nigga, this is real. Mickey. All right, my fault. Imagine Kratos just start smacking his ass. Anyways, Tyr is the god of war for this universe, but he's soft now, basically. And Atreus is trying to start a war. This nigga funny as shit. So they're catching him up on everything that's happened. So basically, you want to use me to start a war? Man, fuck that. Man, come on, cuz you being a hoe, man. So they go back to Brock's spot. And Atreus decides that maybe he should make up a Freya, but niggas is like, man, hell no, she crazy as shit. So instead, they go talk to the serpent. He's talking in the language of giants. And he tells Atreus something about Ironwood. Niggas are obviously annoyed because what is he talking about? Anyways, Atreus ends up popping up on Freya and she almost kills him. But Atreus is talking to her about everything Odin's been doing. So she pushes him off and says, don't come back. Now at this point, Sindri ends up telling Atreus that Brock died before he was born. And he had to go get his soul back, but he only got 3 of the 4 pieces of his soul back. And that Sindri wants to tell him, but you know, it's kind of hard to tell somebody they're only 3/4 of themselves. It's like back in the day when black people were only like a certain like percentage of an actual citizen. Like yo, imagine you tell somebody, hey, you know, you're only 3/5 of a person, right? Anyways, they're all eating breakfast together and they want to go to Elfheim. At this point, they see a prophecy and people were lying, and Ragnarok is only going to destroy Asgard. Atreus is lit, but Tyr is very mad. Now, while they're on the journey, Atreus ends up feeling this animal in pain, so he goes to find it. Kratos goes with him, and he uses his time to spin with Atreus. They eventually go home, and they get to talking about Ragnarok. Kratos just wants Atreus to be safe, but, you know, it's kind of hard dealing with a teenager, especially one that's a god and kind of a dickhead. This man Kratos even flaming his ass about him not being a champion. Bro is a teenager calling himself a champion, bro. Oh my god. How old is Atreus at this point? Like 15, 16? Like, come on, my boy. He was not no champion. Anyways, Atreus is mad and he goes to sleep. Now this dude Atreus ends up dream walking into Ironwood after seeing visions of him tweaking out. He meets Angrboda. She's a giant and calls him Loki. It shows him the prophecy of Kratos dying and him serving Odin. She ends up calming him down and helps him morph safely. First time I've seen this. She also says that he is the champion of Jotunheim. And she gives this nigga marbles with giant souls in them. Says he can't tell anyone about this place. But Shorty's grandma shows up, and she's taking animal souls. They try to dip, but the giant grandma shows up and stops them. They end up destroying the pot that she's using to take the souls, and she snaps on her grandkid. Now, baby, you know, normally your grandma ain't gonna be in here tripping, but now you done destroyed my damn pot. And you ain't here with this raggedy ass white kid. Oh, bitch, I swear to God, I'm gonna fuck you up. Kind of name is Angrboda anyway. I knew your mama shouldn't have named you that dumb ass shit. You not even important. So she tells Loki everything at this point and teaches him how to leave. He teleports home to his old crib, and he ends up fighting a bunch of enemies there until Kratos shows up, and he is terribly mad at Atreus. But Atreus can't tell him why he was gone. Just when everything seems to be back to normal, here comes Freya tripping again and attacking him. Kratos obviously defends himself. She is mad as shit. But she doesn't attack him anymore because she thinks that it's better if they're alive. They want to go to Vanaheim to get the power to travel between realms. On their way there, Kratos and Freya talk about his brother, and he tells her about how he killed his family and that he sees her as a friend. And they end up finding the World Tree roots, but there's this big ass giant dragon defending it. They attack it and they end up winning. You know, my man Kratos is going to defeat pretty much any enemy. Freya's mad, but she can travel now, so they join forces. And she ends up going home and they greet her and they say, yay, we can finally get right back to war now. So her and her brother end up arguing. They make up though, and eventually they leave. Atreus is left by himself to go talk to Odin. You see my man Big Lopes climbing up this wall, and Heimdall up there fucking with him. This nigga fast as shit. He's like some sort of god of like, I don't know, is it time or perception? I don't know, bro, but he can like see things. He got like future sight from One Piece. Now they end up fighting and he is cooking this nigga Loki, bro. I mean, straight punishing this dude. So Odin and Thor pop up to break it up. And Odin says, relax, this is just a visit. So he gives him some information. Atreus goes in and he meets everyone, Thrud included, who is Modi's sister. Now Odin shows him how he can stop Ragnarok. He shows him this thing that's not from the 9 realms. It's a mask. And he reads about this scorched earth. So Thor and him leave and they go to find another piece of this mask. He finds Angrboda, and they also find another piece of the mask as well. is closer to being complete. Thor's not as mad as he was when he first went there with Atreus. I guess Atreus started growing on him. Hey, yo, that was crazy. That's the 5th pause counter for this video, by the way. Odin tells Atreus that he has to finish his mask to get his trust. Kratos at this point is walking around looking for the Nords because he's trying to find Atreus. He finds them and they're mocking him and telling him that he's going to die, and that Heimdall will betray Atreus. At this point, he's pissed and he's going to Asgard to stop Heimdall because he's apparently going to try to kill Atreus. So he asks the Smiths for help again. They end up making this thing called a duplicating ring, and they find something called the Lady. Now they're begging Brock not to go because he's going to find out about his, his plight. Him being 3/4 of a person, which is crazy. But they end up finding the Lady. It's a mermaid, and she brings a spear that duplicates itself, but it needs a blessing. Now at this point, Brock finds out the truth, and Kratos just asks for a blessing from him. So he does, but Odin shows up, mocking him, and tells him that Atreus is back in Asgard, and that's why he couldn't find him. Anyways, Atreus is there, and he gets another clue about the mask. So him, Heimdall, and Thrud go this time. And they find this big ass dog that's putting holes in realities. They let the dog go, but Thrud was being a bitch and started trying to attack him. Atreus wants to leave, so he takes the mask, and Odin takes him. But Atreus wants to leave, so after dipping off, Odin takes the mask back, and then Odin takes him back. So he finds Kratos and he gives him this big ass hug. Bro is mad as... I honestly thought Kratos was going to be mad at this moment, but he's more so just sad. And he stops people from shitting on Atreus for dipping off, even though everybody in the room is mad. Anyways, they go to fight that dog, the one that's ripping holes in realities, and eventually they stop it. They snap its necks. But he doesn't have a soul, so it just keeps resurrecting itself. But back in Ironwood, he learned about those souls and the marbles and this knife with a soul in it. So Atreus puts his wolf soul, Fenrir, from the beginning. He puts his soul into an empty vessel. And now the wolf's happy as hell. Kratos talks to Atreus after this about the old ways, and he apologizes for the way that things used to be. Man, I chased you away, son, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. It's okay, Dad. Without you, I got reckless and I made stupid mistakes. I can't do this alone. You were right. Man, son, you grew into a real warrior, man. You know what I'm saying? Stop being so hard on yourself. Hey, yo, that's the 6th pause counter, though. I ain't gonna lie, that was crazy. But, man, I love you, man. I was the one that wasn't ready, man. I'm sorry, son. Don't be sorry, Father. Be better. Oh, my God. And they walk away, holding on to each other. But time to kill Heimdall's bitch ass. But Kratos wants to do it a different way. So they pull up to Freya's place. But Odin took her and her bow. Now there's celestial wolves missing. So they go to the wolf's den. And they end up letting them go. But it eclipses the sun like the prophecy. And they use the bow to turn day into night. But Kratos and Atreus go to save her. But Heimdall shows up. Yo, he's cooking, I ain't gonna lie. My man Kratos using the ability of these weapons and ends up smoking his ass. But Heimdall doesn't want to be spared. So they fight again. And they smoke him bad this time. I ain't gonna lie. Kratos tried to let him live. Bro talking about he don't want to be spared though. So, I mean, you know what had to happen to him. Anyways, they end up getting Freya. And at this point, they're going to go back to Asgard. They find Angrboda and she's mad at him, but says it's okay, don't worry about it. In real Greek mythology, Angrboda and Loki, they're actually had a real relationship. They were married and Fenrir was their child. So seeing this moment with them three together is kind of cool. It's like a callback to that. Anyways, Thor is tweaking out back at Asgard and he's starting this bar fight. Nigga drinking because, Odin is his dad and he's trash. But anyways, they find the last masterpiece and Odin is happy. But Thor's wife is talking heavy about Loki. So Thor attacks him. And right as this happens, Atreus ends up teleporting away. They can't get back to Asgard now. But don't worry, because Tyr helps him though. He said that he was waiting on Atreus. Things seem off about him. And Tyr keeps calling him Loki. And right in this moment, he ends up stabbing Brock and he kills him. It was Odin the whole time. And he declares war. So they regroup and they make a plan to engage in war. They gotta recruit niggas though, to help against Odin. So they get the elves, giants, and their army, and Surtur. They end up using the Blades of Chaos to unleash his powerful form. The Valkyries end up showing up trying to stop him, but they stop the Valkyries though because they some hoe ass niggas. And Surtur is ready at this point. Now they go back to rest in preparation for the war at this point. And the next morning they go to Tyr's temple and they rush into Asgard. Midgard's dying, shit breaking apart, but the rest of the allies end up showing up. But Kratos wants to save the civilians that are there because they're basically getting thrown in the middle of this and it's not their fault. Thrud's mother shows up as well and says that Loki, and basically says that Loki sucks, but Odin is pure evil. Now Thor shows up for their rematch. We also see the snake here, who is actually the world serpent that got sent to the past. So it's weird, but that big ass world serpent that you see is really this world serpent here. It's very strange, but it makes sense. Anyways, but that's why the world serpent said Ironwood earlier, because he, you know, had this information already. Now, my man Kratos ends up talking no jutsuing Thor, calms him down, but Odin kills him, which is crazy. So they end up jumping his ass, and I'm not gonna lie, he's cooking him. But Freya stops him, and he throws all three of them into a study. Atreus ends up breaking the mask, and they're trying to talk to Odin, but he doesn't want to change. So they say fuck it, and they put his soul into a marble. But Sindri destroys the marble, as he should, because no, fuck that. After this, Thor becomes the new god of thunder. Fenrir's chilling, and Angerboda ends up showing him this shrine. Kratos lets Atreus go on his little journey to get his marbles, but he sees a prophecy about him being the new Allfather. They also find the real Tyr at the end, which is kind of cool. And just like that, we are at the end of our story. This has been God of War. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comment section below if you liked the video, what changes you would like to see from it, and you know, if you like it the way it is, let me know that as well. Also, let me know what games and what lore you want me to cover next. I know I make 1,000 channels every day, but this one is going to probably be my favorite. Anyways, love you guys. Bye.